Chosen one, this message is no accident. You are here because something inside you has been searching for answers, a truth hidden beneath the surface, a mystery that has been waiting to be revealed. You have felt it, haven't you? A shift in the spirit, a stirring deep within your soul, the feeling that something big is coming, something the world is not prepared for, but something that God's chosen ones must understand. And today, the revelation will be made clear. God has left a prophecy hidden in His Word, a prophecy so powerful, so connected to the days we are living in, that once you see it, you will never look at the Bible the same way again. This is not a message for the world. This is not a message for those who refuse to seek God's truth. This is a message for you, because God has called you to see what others do not see, to hear what others ignore, to prepare for what is coming. There are moments in history where God reveals something to His people, something that has been in plain sight all along but was not understood until the appointed time. Could it be that this is that moment? Could it be that what you are about to hear is exactly what God has been leading you to? This prophecy has been in the Bible for generations. Many have read it, but few have truly understood its meaning. Until now, what you are about to uncover will shake you. It will open your eyes. It will confirm what your spirit has been sensing all along. But most importantly, it will prepare you for what is coming next. Chosen one, do not ignore this message. God is speaking. Are you ready to listen? Chosen one, what if I told you that a prophecy has been hiding in plain sight? Not a prophecy about the past. Not a prophecy that was fulfilled thousands of years ago, but a prophecy that is unfolding right now. A prophecy so powerful, so divinely orchestrated, that once you see it, you will understand why you were drawn to this message at this exact moment in time. This is not by chance. This is not random. God has led you here because you were meant to hear this revelation. Throughout history, God has always given prophetic warnings before major events. He revealed to Noah that a flood was coming long before the rain began to fall. He gave Joseph a dream about a coming famine years before it happened. He told Daniel about the rise and fall of future empires before they ever came into existence. God does not move without revealing His plan to His people. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing His plan to His servants, the prophets. Amos 3 verse 7. But here is the mystery. Some prophecies were not meant to be understood until the appointed time. When Daniel received visions about the future, he was confused. He wanted to know more, to understand. But God told him something unusual. Go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end. Daniel 12 verse 9. Did you catch that? The prophecy was sealed. It was hidden, not because God wanted to keep it from His people forever, but because it was meant for a future generation to understand. And what if that generation is us? What if the events happening in the world today, the shaking, the chaos, the division, the spiritual awakening, are all signs that the appointed time has come? Jesus Himself warned that many would miss it. Even when Jesus walked the earth, He spoke in parables, revealing truth in a way that only those with spiritual discernment could grasp. His disciples once asked Him, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" And Jesus answered, "Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them." Matthew 13 verse 11. Some would understand. Others would remain blind. Could it be that the same is true today? That there are mysteries in Scripture, prophecies waiting to be unlocked, but only those with eyes to see will recognize them. Chosen one, this is not the time to be asleep. You have felt the shift in your spirit. You have sensed that something is happening, something beyond what the news can explain, beyond what the world can comprehend. This prophecy will confirm what your spirit has already been sensing. The world is not just going through random events. There is a divine timeline, and we are stepping into one of the most critical moments in history. And here is where it gets even more powerful. This hidden prophecy is not just about the world. It is not just about the nations. It is about you. Your role in God's plan is greater than you think. This is why the enemy has tried so hard to distract you, to discourage you, to keep you in a cycle of doubt. Because he knows that if you truly understand who you are and what time it is, you will become unstoppable. But now, the veil is being lifted. Now, what was hidden is being revealed. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Chosen one, prophecy has always been a mystery. Throughout the ages, God has spoken through his prophets, revealing glimpses of what is to come. But not all prophecies were meant to be understood in their time. Some were sealed, hidden away, waiting for a future generation to uncover them. One of the most profound examples of this is found in the visions of an ancient prophet. He saw things beyond his time, events that would unfold in the distant future. When he asked for understanding, he was told, "Seal up these words, for they are meant for the time of the end." Think about that. A prophecy so powerful that it was not to be revealed until a specific moment in history. The question is, have we arrived at that moment? The world is shifting in ways that no one can ignore. Political unrest, wars, moral decay, spiritual awakening, all happening at once. But these are not random events. They were foretold, hidden in ancient writings, waiting for the right generation to recognize them. The prophecy that was once sealed is now being understood. Why? Because the appointed time has come. Look at what is happening around you. The rise of deception, the confusion, the spiritual battle intensifying. It is all part of the pattern that was written long ago. And yet, many remain blind to it. Just as in the days of an ancient flood, when people continued their lives as if nothing was coming, today's world dismisses the warnings. But God always reveals his plan to those who are watching. This is why you are here, because something in your spirit has already been sensing the change. This prophecy is not just about world events. It is about your role in what is coming next. Prophecy moves in cycles. What has happened before will happen again, though in a new way. The fall of kingdoms, the rise of deception, the calling of the faithful. It has all happened before, and it is happening again now. There was a time when a great empire ruled with absolute power. The people thought it would last forever. But in a single night, the kingdom was taken away, just as the prophets had warned. No one expected it to happen so quickly, yet it had been written long before. Another time, a nation turned away from God, choosing corruption over righteousness. They believed they could stand without him. But suddenly, judgment came, and everything changed in an instant. We are seeing the same patterns repeat today. The world is walking the same dangerous path, unaware that history is moving toward another prophetic fulfillment. The signs are all around us, yet only those who are spiritually awake can see them. Chosen one, you have been given eyes to see. This prophecy was not meant to remain hidden forever. The reason it is being understood now, after generations of mystery, is because we are stepping into the very days it was meant for. Do you feel the urgency? The time of waiting is over. The words that were once sealed are now being unlocked. What was once confusing is now making sense. The pieces are falling into place. But what does this mean for you? You were born in this time for a reason. You were placed in this moment of history with a purpose. The unveiling of this prophecy is not just to inform, it is to prepare. Because when God reveals something, He is also calling His people to take action. Are you ready? Because the next part of this prophecy will reveal your role in what is coming. Chosen one, what if I told you that the prophecy that was once sealed is unfolding right now? Not in some distant future, not in another generation, but in your lifetime. There are moments in history when prophecy moves from mystery to reality. And we are living in such a moment right now. Look at what is happening around you. The world is shifting faster than ever before. Nations are rising and falling. The moral compass of society is collapsing. Spiritual darkness is growing, but so is the awakening of God's people. None of this is random. This is the pattern of prophecy. This is what happens before a great move of God. The signs that have been foretold. The prophecy we are discussing speaks of a time when deception will be at its highest, when truth will be twisted, and people will reject righteousness in favor of their own desires. It tells of a world where good is called evil and evil is called good. Look around you. Do you see it? The confusion, the corruption, the rise of falsehood. Everything that was written is happening before our very eyes. There was a time when the world had a sense of right and wrong, when values were upheld, when truth was clear. But now, the lines have been blurred. People are no longer searching for truth. They are creating their own versions of it. This was foretold. But even deeper in this prophecy is something more profound, a warning that the hearts of many will grow cold, not just among those who reject God, but even among those who once followed Him. A great falling away was predicted, a time when many who once stood firm would turn away, distracted by the things of this world, caught in the flood of deception. And that is exactly what we are witnessing today. How many people have walked away from their faith? How many churches have exchanged the truth for a message that pleases the world? How many have become numb to what is happening, unable to recognize the hour we are in? This is the fulfillment of what was written long ago. But here is the part that will shake you. The prophecy also speaks of something else. A remnant. Not everyone will fall away. Not everyone will be deceived. In every season of darkness, God raises up a chosen people, a set-apart generation, a remnant that will stand strong when others waver. Could it be that you are part of that remnant? The reason you feel different, the reason you have been sensing that something is happening, the reason you are drawn to messages like this is because your spirit knows. You were born in this time for a reason. This prophecy is not just about what is happening in the world. It is about what God is doing through His chosen ones. And if you are listening to this message, you are being called. The question is, will you wake up to your purpose? Because this prophecy is not meant to scare you. It is meant to prepare you. The time is now. The hour is late. But God is raising up those who will walk in power, in truth, in unshakable faith. Will you be one of them? Because, chosen one, your role in this prophecy is greater than you ever imagined. This prophecy is not just about the world. It is not just about political events, wars, or moral decay. It is about a calling that has been placed upon a specific group of people. God's remnant. Throughout history, whenever darkness covered the earth, whenever nations turned away from righteousness, whenever deception grew, God always had a remnant, a group of people who refused to bow, a group who would not be silenced, a group who carried divine wisdom when the world was blind. And that remnant exists today. Could you be one of them? The reason you have been sensing a shift, the reason your spirit has been restless, the reason you are drawn to messages like this, it is because your spirit already knows. This prophecy speaks of a time when the world would be divided into two groups. One group would follow deception, conform to the patterns of the world, and turn away from truth. But the other group would be set apart. The other group would receive divine revelation. The other group would walk in power, wisdom, and discernment. And that group is you, chosen one. If you have been feeling different, if you have been sensing that you cannot live like the rest of the world, if you feel that God is pulling you into deeper understanding, it is because you were never meant to be like everyone else. You were chosen for such a time as this. This prophecy is unfolding, and you have a role to play. Every time darkness rises, God raises up his warriors. When Egypt enslaved his people, he raised up Moses. When a giant threatened a nation, he raised up David. When a kingdom fell into corruption, he raised up Esther. And now, in this time, he is raising up a generation that will not be shaken. A generation that will walk in truth when the world embraces lies. A generation that will carry light when darkness covers the earth. A generation that will not compromise, will not bow, will not retreat. And, chosen one, this is your generation. You are being called to prepare, to step into your divine assignment, to wake up to the reality that God has positioned you in this moment of history for a reason. Many people will miss it. Many will continue living as if nothing is happening. Many will be too distracted, too deceived, too entangled in the world to understand the urgency of this time. But you are different. You are hearing this message because God is awakening you. He is calling you to step forward. He is calling you to grow in wisdom. He is calling you to prepare, because what is coming will require strong faith, deep understanding, and unwavering obedience. This prophecy is unfolding, and the chosen ones must rise. The question is, will you answer the call? Because the final part of this prophecy reveals what is coming next, and you must be ready. Chosen one, this is where everything comes together. You have felt the shift. You have seen the signs. You now understand that this prophecy is not just about history. It is about you. But now comes the most important part. What happens next? The ancient prophecy that was once sealed speaks of a great separation, a time when two paths will be made clear, and every person will have to choose. One path will lead to comfort, conformity, and deception. It will be the path that the world embraces, the path that requires no faith, no sacrifice, no true commitment to God. The other path. It will be the path of the chosen ones, a path that will require faith, boldness, and complete trust in the voice of God. This has already begun. The world is dividing. The battle lines are being drawn. Those who seek truth and those who reject it are becoming more distinct than ever before. And you must decide where you stand. This is not a time for lukewarm faith. This is not a time to be passive, distracted, or unprepared. This is the time to rise. The prophecy is unfolding, and those who are spiritually awake must be ready. So what must the chosen ones do? First, you must seek wisdom like never before. This is a time of deception. False teachings, false signs, false promises. They are everywhere. The only way to remain strong is to be deeply rooted in truth. You cannot rely on second-hand knowledge or shallow faith. You must go deeper. This is why God has been stirring you, pulling you toward revelation, opening your eyes to what others do not see. Because the chosen ones will not survive on borrowed faith. They must walk in divine wisdom. Second, you must strengthen your spirit. If you have been sensing spiritual attacks, if you have felt weary, if the battle has been intense, it is because the enemy knows that your breakthrough is dangerous to his plans. This is why you cannot afford to grow cold in your faith. This is why you must be vigilant in prayer. This is why you must train your spirit, because a great shaking is coming. But those who are prepared will not be shaken. Third, you must walk in obedience. When the time comes, God will call his chosen ones to action. Some will be called to lead. Some will be called to intercede. Some will be called to provide refuge, wisdom, or strength to others. Your assignment has already been written. But if you are not listening, if you are not walking in obedience now, how will you be ready when the moment arrives? This is why preparation is critical. Because when God says, "Move," you must be ready to move. The prophecy speaks of a time when the world will shake, but God's chosen ones will stand firm. There will be an increase in spiritual deception, an increase in conflict, an increase in chaos. But for those who are prepared, this will also be a season of great clarity, strength, and divine positioning. Because whenever darkness rises, God empowers his people even more. This is not the time to fear. This is not the time to shrink back. This is the time to prepare, align, and step fully into your calling. This prophecy is unfolding now, and God has been speaking to you because you are meant to be part of what comes next. If you have been feeling the urgency, if you have been sensing that something is shifting in the spirit, if you know in your heart that God is calling you to go deeper, do not ignore this moment, because the prophecy is clear. A great separation is happening. The battle lines are being drawn, and God is preparing his remnant. The only question is, are you ready? Because, chosen one, your time has come. You cannot ignore what you have heard. You cannot walk away unchanged. The prophecy is unfolding, and God has revealed it to you because you have a role to play. This is the time for action. The enemy wants you to hesitate. He wants you to question, to delay, to keep living as if nothing is happening. But you cannot afford to wait any longer. The prophecy is not just a warning. It is a divine calling, a call to rise, to prepare, to step fully into the identity that God has given you. You were not meant to stay asleep. You were not meant to blend in with the world. You were not meant to remain silent while darkness increases. You were chosen for such a time as this. Now, you must choose. What will you do? Will you walk in obedience? Will you prepare your spirit for what is coming? Will you embrace the wisdom that God is revealing to you? Or will you let this moment pass, hoping that someone else will carry the responsibility that was meant for you? Because make no mistake, the chosen ones are rising. They are stepping forward. They are hearing the call. They are preparing. Will you be one of them? Right now, in this very moment, declare it with your words. Say it out loud. Lord, I hear you. I receive your call. I will not be deceived. I will not fall away. I will walk in wisdom, in faith, in obedience. I am part of your remnant. I am ready. In Jesus' name, Amen. This is the moment. Everything changes now. The prophecy has been revealed. The truth has been spoken. Your time to rise has come. Do not delay. Do not look back. Step forward into what God has prepared for you. Chosen one, this is just the beginning. The prophecy has been revealed. The truth has been spoken. And now, your journey begins. You are not here by accident. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. God has been preparing you for this very moment. Something inside of you has awakened. You feel it. The urgency, the confirmation, the knowing that God is calling you to something greater. And now, you must walk forward in faith. The days ahead will not be easy, but they will be filled with divine power for those who are prepared. The world will continue to shake, but you will stand firm. God is not raising up a fearful people. He is raising up warriors. You will walk in wisdom while others stumble in confusion. You will shine with light while others are lost in darkness. You will carry truth while the world is drowning in deception. Because this is your calling. This is why the enemy has fought so hard to keep you distracted. This is why your journey has been difficult. Because he knew that if you ever discovered who you truly are in God's plan, you would become unstoppable. But now, the enemy has lost. Because you see the truth. You understand the prophecy. You know who you are. And now, you will move forward in power, in boldness, and in faith. The prophecy that was once sealed is now being revealed, because this is the time of the remnant. Those who stand for righteousness will see miracles. Those who prepare their hearts will receive divine protection. Those who obey the voice of God will walk into blessings beyond imagination. Because whenever God gives a warning, He also gives a promise. He has promised to strengthen you. He has promised to guide you. He has promised that if you remain faithful, He will never leave you. And, chosen one, your faithfulness is about to be rewarded. Your time of preparation is leading to a time of divine positioning. Your season of obedience is leading to a season of supernatural provision. Your willingness to seek truth is leading to an outpouring of God's favor. Stand strong, walk boldly, and trust completely. The prophecy is unfolding. The chosen ones are rising, and you are one of them. Now, move forward with boldness, with faith, with absolute certainty that God's hand is upon your life. The time has come. Step into your destiny, because the best is yet to come. Chosen one, if this message confirmed what you've been feeling in your spirit, let me know. You are not alone. There is a remnant rising, and you are part of it. God has been speaking, revealing, and preparing His people. Now, I want to hear from you. What has God been showing you? Drop a comment below and declare, I am chosen. Let the enemy know that you are awake. Let the world know that you are standing firm. Let heaven hear that you are ready to walk in divine purpose. And if you know someone who needs this message, share it with them. The time is short. The remnant is rising. And together, we are stepping into God's divine plan. You are chosen. You are seen. You are called. And your best days are ahead.